Welcome to another episode of the 50 Shades of NBA podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Nathan.
And this is episode 36, a.k.a. the Dario Saric Kevon Looney podcast.
A.k.a. Marcus Smart podcast. I don't know if he deserves it right now, but...
A.k.a. Shaquille O'Neal podcast, the best Celtic to ever wear number 36.
So true.
Take that, Marcus Smart. Does he wear 36?
Marcus Smart, yeah.
That's
from
crazy.
2015 to 2023, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's weird because even watching the entire series, it never clicked to me he was number 36.
Me either. But that being said, now that you've brought up the series, Nathan, the Miami Heat... The Miami Heat finally finished off the Boston Celtics in 7 games after going up 3-0. They almost blew a 3-0 lead. But Heat fans can take a breather now. Nathan, what did you see from that series?
I think Boston, it was only right for them to not get swept. We're kind of ambitious on the podcast last week. More so probably out of the spite for Boston than actual, gamesmanship, basketball talk, because it is hard even when you are that talented to get swept. And Boston hung around just long enough. And I don't know, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of those losses just lacked heart and effort. Granted, the last game, Tatum got hurt, which threw off probably their whole game plan going in. But I don't know. You look at that team and there's so many moments where it just looked like they gave up.
Yeah, it was.
And making stupid decisions, turnovers off the wazoo. So
it was a rough last game to go out on. It reminded me of another Game 7 in these playoffs. The 76ers versus Boston Game 7.
Fair enough.
Where similar to Tatum, Joel Embiid also suffered a major injury that really crippled him for the rest of the game. We did find out it was a grade 2 ligament tear in his knee.
That's what's up.
Come
on, Tatum only had a rolled ankle, sprained ankle.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a valiant performance put by the Boston Celtics. Shout out Derrick White. Dude really is him.
For real.
If you haven't seen his crazy putback to win Game 6, then you haven't lived.
It was ridiculous. We had a lot of people over this past Saturday, and there's probably about 20, 25 of us staring at, the last couple seconds of the game. And Miami goes down. I was like the only one rooting for the Heat. In that whole clan, that whole pod, everyone else was cheering for Boston. And Jimmy, he got fouled, made both, and I'm like, talking a little bit ish. And Boston takes it down, misses the original shot. I was like, oh my, I was freaking, oh my god, I was freaking out. And then as I'm screaming, I see Derrick White out of nowhere putting the team on his back, the city of Boston on his back. Beautiful tip-in, literally couldn't have got there at a more perfect time.
Seriously, it was perfectly. He went from the inbound, I believe. I think he inbounded it to Marcus Smart and cut through the left corner as Marcus Smart threw it up. He tipped it back in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, talk about being prepared. Talk about I don't even know. It was a tremendous play by Derrick White to keep him alive.
Very heads up, very intelligent play from Derrick White.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, it was.
Did say
on the headband.
He said at the end of the game, he was like, "There's no point to not try to go for a tip in." He said he was like, "Yeah, it was definitely gonna be the last shot of the game. So no matter what, I just decided I was gonna go for it over anyone."
I respect that.
It was crazy. It's really crazy too because you see Jimmy throw his hands up when the shot clanks off by Marcus Smart. Mm-hmm. He throws his hands up like he just went to the finals, and Derrick White just tipped it back in. That being said, I mean, they did go to the finals just one game later. Yeah,
they did. Yep, absolutely. I want to give Jimmy Butler and the Heat a lot of credit, though, because there was a little bit of pressure building up, whether that was just locker room talk on the Celtics with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart saying, don't let us get one more. Yeah. Okay, we got one more. Whether it's that or more so like media influence, like ESPN on pretty much every one of their shows. It was, oh, can the Boston Celtics do the impossible, come back from a 0-3? So with all that pressure, you see every press conference when they went on that 3-game skid, Jimmy was just reminding everyone that they're fine. They'll get the next one. Like, obviously it sucks, but they're not worried. Yeah. So it was great to see that composure.
It was. And Jimmy definitely, I do think it's crazy. Like if any other team had blown this lead of like being up 3-0 and then having to win in 7, I feel like there'd be a lot more scrutiny, but I feel like because the Heat are a 7th seed, there's a little bit more of leeway behind that, but definitely more
8th seed.
Definitely 8th seed. My bad.
Yeah.
Play-in team, 8th seed. He deserved a little bit more credit for that, but that's all. That's really my whole thought process behind it.
No, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. Every analyst ever and anyone who watches basketball, like if you were to give your genuine input and thought going into the series, everyone said Boston. ESPN had their analytics with a 97% chance of Boston going on, and it didn't matter. It did not matter.
Yeah, so. It did not. I saw someone today commented 3% chance, 97% faith as a Heat fan. And I'll be honest with you, awesome. That was metal. That was metal AF.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I was like, dang.
I do think it's cool, though, because watching the Heat, if you were to tell them, like, they're not the better team, they would have laughed at you in your face.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
Butler and his playoff run that he's been on. Like, you couldn't tell anyone in that locker room that they weren't, like, in their mind, they're probably favorited, to win that series.
Yeah, in their head, they're like,
I do think, I mean, it's their series to lose, but I think a lot of that goes back to Spo. I think I'm coming around. Spo, better coach than
Steve Kerr?
Better coach than Kerr. Yeah.
He's one of the greatest of all times.
Yeah. No, I'm cool with saying that now.
It's so really obvious. Like, it's so clear. It's clear as day. Give Spo his flowers, man.
I think playoff series wins is something he's really high up there. I don't remember the exact number that he is at, but he's I don't know. His coaching performance with different teams too is just historic. In maximizing everything out of the people on his roster, whether that's the 9 like undrafted players that are getting starting minutes on the team, or your superstar Jimmy Butler. But Spoelstra, he definitely deserves every little ounce of praise,
Yeah. At this point, it's just obvious, right? Like, he just kind of deserves to be in the conversation, not for like greatest coach of all time by any means, but definitely deserves to be in the conversation for legitimate great coach,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even looking at 2010s, the 2020 very early decade, he's been to the conference finals, 4 out of the last 5, and then been to the finals 2 of the last 4. Granted, 1 year was the bubble year, but that's like peak play, playoff basketball.
Yeah,
is what that bubble was.
Yeah,
but he definitely deserves way more credit than what he's been given up to this point.
That being said, I think I'm officially saying that I think the Heat are going to win this championship.
All right. Well, what's got you feeling that way?
What's got me feeling that way? Let me give you this real quick.
Okay.
What about that 2017 Eagles team? Was that team supposed to win a championship?
No, they were not.
Exactly. You know what we call that here?
Team of destiny.
A team of destiny, Nathan. You're absolutely correct.
Team of destiny.
It's an 8th seed, man. Doing this.
Yeah. First time since 1999.
99. That's great. Is it the second or third time ever that it's ever happened?
I don't know.
I think it's third.
I do not know. Okay.
Do you know who did it in 99? Because I don't.
The Knicks.
Oh, okay. So I think it's the second then. Because that's that. Yeah. The 99 Knicks and then this team. I think that's it.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And I know the Knicks lost in that 99 championship. I don't remember who they played or anything about it, but I know the Knicks made it. I just think this team is a team of destiny. I'm going to stop doubting Jimmy Butler ever. I'm going to stop doubting the Heat. And I'll be honest with you, Caleb Martin played like an absolute, like the greatest role player I've ever seen. I think.
Do you think he should have won Eastern Conference MVP?
No. Jimmy's defense was. If Jimmy's shots weren't falling, he was still the number one defender, right? Every single time.
Yeah.
He's also the leader of that team. Like, I'm not against Caleb getting the amount of votes that he received. I think it was 4 or 5 for votes.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not against Caleb getting 4 votes and Jimmy getting 5, but at the same time, like, he deserved to get those votes, but Jimmy deserved to win it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
This has been the Jimmy Butler playoff run.
It really has.
Yeah.
Really has. Like when, I don't know if it was on the podcast or on a Twitter reply that I had to you, with Jimmy Butler, where do you rank his playoff performance? As of recent, or like past couple decades, I was like, I think easy top 5, and series by series, he just continues to prove that.
Yeah, so. Easily. I think that was a TikTok. I think it was a TikTok comment.
Okay, was it? It was a TikTok. That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
But yeah, no, it was a crazy series. I'm happy for the Heat, man. You see that they had booked their ticket to Denver before
I did.
Like tipping.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Talk about confidence. Yeah, I mean, they're all in. No second thoughts about losing that game. And
that being said, if they would have lost,
can't say the same for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Would have been really awkward.
I bet Jimmy would have flown to Denver anyway, suited up, Heat uniform, walking onto the court with the Celtics, be like, oh, I represent the East.
Literally.
It would have been wild.
It would have been hilarious to see, no lie. But yeah, props to the Heat, dude. With Caleb Martin though, he had a tremendous, series like you said. On the breakdown, I think the only thing that he truly did better than Jimmy was his efficiency from the field. Other than that, like points per game, where they were lower, rebounds, assists, those were all lower. Obviously, defensively, you have a premier defender in the league in Jimmy Butler. So
yeah, it's not like Martin was not bad at defense by any means. Was very good at defense, but not Jimmy.
It's also Jimmy Butler. Yeah, Jimmy had so many steals on both Tatum, Brown, you name it, Smart. And I remember there's one he just picked the pocket of Tatum last night and had a fast break jam. But now his presence literally everywhere. And when his shots weren't falling, like, he'd still step up on defense, like you said earlier. So
exactly. And I remember vividly seeing him pickpocket Jaylen Brown, I think 3 times last night.
Yeah.
Like
Brown had 8 turnovers, dude.
Jaylen Brown had 8 turnovers, and it's only when he dribbles to the left. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That breakdown?
I have
dribbling
that.
To the left and just always whether he's getting ripped by Jimmy or if he just like loses the ball. There was one time he was in the right corner 3 area and just went to the left and it just flew away.
Yeah.
Like, I can't dribble left either, but I'm not getting, chance to get paid $300 million.
Literally. I mean, I could do that for you.
I could dribble left. I could not dribble left for a lot cheaper. Million. You pay me a minimum contract, I'll fail to dribble left.
Swear to God, do it happily with a smile on my face.
Yes, sir. I think.
So you.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
You got it.
I insist, Trey.
Nathan, we can't do this.
I was gonna
here. It's all
okay.
It's all you.
Fine. I was just gonna ask. So you picked the Heat over the Nuggets.
Yes.
You have a certain amount of games, and then I want to hear more of your rationale behind this.
I want Heat over Nuggets in 7.
Okay.
And here's my reasoning. I think Gabe Vincent continues to have that massive chip on his shoulder, and it leads them to have a successful, not like he's not going to out-duel Jamal Murray or anything, I think, but he's going to have a successful series. I think Max Strus is going to have a great time defending Michael Porter Jr. because Michael Porter Jr. can't really pass.
Michael never swing the rock Porter.
Yes, sir. I believe Bruce Brown for the Nuggets will have a fantastic series. I think he's probably going to be their second or third best player. Yeah, I mean
okay.
that. I think Bam Adebayo doesn't lock down Jokic by any means, but I think Bam is I want to say Bam is the best defensive center that Jokic has seen in the playoffs so far. And I know I'm saying that with Anthony Davis being the other great center, but I think Anthony Davis didn't have the heart that Bam's gonna be playing with. And I think Jimmy's gonna just torch everyone. So
okay. I respect
that's
that.
my reasoning, you know?
Mm-hmm. I respect it.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You know, I'm happy you gave me that breakdown. I needed to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Duncan Robinson, I saw this, someone on Twitter said that the dream scenario for Heat fans around the world would be for the Heat to be, it'd be the Heat winning in 6 games, right? And 6 games in Miami. And then it's a blowout for the Heat. And then in the final minute of game 6 with the Heat up like 40 or something, Udonis Haslem gets to check into the game.
That's hilarious.
And so he goes out on the court winning a championship.
It'd be cool.
It'd be really cool.
It would be cool.
It'd be really, and he gets a dunk.
Great way to cap his, bro, he might tear every ligament in his body if he tried to dunk.
But he'd get that dunk.
For better or for worse?
I'm rooting for
better
it.
Or for worse?
That's all I want.
Okay. I respect that. I really do. I'm going the other way though.
Okay, valid. I mean,
sticking with the Nuggets.
You're using logic in my non-logic brain, so give it to me. What's your reasoning?
Okay. Yeah. Reasoning, I think you kind of highlighted it earlier just with the 2 setters that Jokic will match up against, but I think AD was playing at a very high level.
Yep.
And consistently, even in that Nuggets series, he was doing his thing offensively and defensively. Like, there wasn't much more he could have done against Jokic, and I think that's just a testament to Jokic's greatness. Bam's a little smaller than what Davis is, and size-wise, I think Jokic will take advantage of that. Not saying like Bam will have a bad series, but I don't know. In my head, if AD playing at his top game in the playoffs couldn't stop Jokic, then I don't know. I don't see Bam Adebayo having a much better, luck in that. And Bam's not as good of an offensive player as Davis is.
True.
So I really like that matchup for Denver. And then Murray, he's just been on fire, dude. He's raised his potential stardom, in the regular season to definite superstar status. The pick and roll that Denver loves to run, that little 2-man action between the two is so deadly.
It
and
is.
We'll see what Gabe Vincent can do. I wouldn't be shocked if Butler gets some looks on him too.
Yeah.
Just to kind of slow it down or, shut it down, hopefully. Also the size with MPJ, 6'10", pretty much automatic with the ball coming out of his hands whenever he touches it, And then same with KCP, bro. He's been a good little facilitator for the most part, but he's been drilling all of his shots.
He has been.
Yeah, you talked about Bruce Brown, be a big series for him. And then the unsung hero, I think, in the Lakers series was Aaron Gordon.
It was.
Against LeBron James.
Absolutely. I think Aaron Gordon's going to have a not as good of a series as he did against the Lakers, or is as impactful, just because I don't feel like they run as many things through whichever 4 they end up playing with. It's Kevin Love. I don't know who else they start at the 4 though. Do you?
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, you have Strus, Vincent, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, and Bam.
Yeah.
Like, that's right. It's a starting 5 right there. I would want Gordon on Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I don't know if Gordon's fast enough to really stick with the young and angry Jimmy Butler compared to an old and angry LeBron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, size-wise, I like how he matches up. Yeah. He's a good athlete, but
I want someone with Bruce Brown or Aaron Gordon's capabilities and Michael Porter Jr.'s size to match up with Jimmy Butler.
That'd be ridiculous.
That's all I want.
That'd be ridiculous.
That's just Kawhi Leonard.
Fair enough. Like. You know what? Damn near might be. Maybe like an inch or two shorter, but still.
Yep.
Kawhi Leonard.
No, I would like to have players. I like the Heat's matchups in this regardless. I do think Bam Adebayo, because he's not as good of an offensive player, so much more of his effort goes into his defensive performance. Where we saw in the Lakers series, the Lakers went as far as Anthony Davis could carry them on offense a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I want to see Bam, I don't want to see more than 16 points out of Bam ever. Because I don't think he can really do that effectively and still lead the team. I want to see 8 point, 10 rebound, 3 blocks, 2 steals. That's what I want to see out of a Bam. And that's the way I think the Heat win this finals which I believe they will, if Spo leads them correctly and plans correctly. I think the Nuggets make the most sense. I think the Nuggets are probably the better team. I think every team that Miami's faced so far has been a better team than them. And they just keep winning. So I'm not going to bet against, at least on paper, a better team on paper. I mean, but I'm done betting against the Heat. I'm saying Heat finals.
I respect that. And I mean, you wouldn't be wrong looking at it. Like you just said, they've been better teams on paper than what they have been every single round, maybe outside of the New York Knicks.
The Knicks were even better than them, bro.
I was going to say, but even still, people could definitely make the argument that the Knicks are.
I mean, the Knicks were a better team. Knicks also had 2 All-Stars, right? Julius Randle and not this year, but Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, right?
Yep.
So those are the 2 cornerstones. Then outside of that, on the Heat, who else do you really have that you were expecting to be kind of that great player? I wasn't expecting Duncan Robinson's resurgence. I wasn't expecting Gabe Vincent or Max Strus to really step up. I was not expecting Caleb Martin to be one of the best role players in the league now.
Yep.
And you had RJ Barrett. You had you had Derrick Rose on your bench. You had all these dudes. You had Emmanuel Quickley, who finished second in the league for 6th man of the year, and he did nothing. You had every single person on your team shoot worse from 3 except for Josh Hart. Also, Josh Hart, I feel like, is already better in my head than every role player on the Heat. It's just the Heat play well.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. So they're so bought into the system and everything that they do run. You don't really see that, that level of commitment, which is weird to say because it's NBA basketball, but everyone in the Heat locker room is so bought into what that culture is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That being said, if you're the Boston Celtics, are you giving Jason and Jalen your extensions, or are you looking to trade Jalen?
I would re-sign him.
Okay.
I'd re-sign him just because he's still so young and you don't want to just let him walk for nothing. Yeah, I agree. I think if they do make a move for Brown, it'd be 2 years down the line type of deal. Because looking at the contracts and stuff, that's when that money spike really hits for the bulk of his contract. So that'd be the year to do it.
Yeah.
But see how much more you can get out of the team. Horford's getting old, so I don't know what his contract looks like, but for the most part,
big.
you're returning the same team.
I want to throw out the only thought process I've heard recently regarding a Jaylen Brown trade. And there's a lot of smoke that goes to this rumor. So the Houston Rockets, right, are making a big push for James Harden.
Yep.
James Harden's not going to go to the Rockets unless they have a competitive team. So which means likely Jalen Green's already expressed this, that he thinks that Harden coming there would take away his touches and he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So in the world where James Harden wants to go back to Houston, Houston's trying to be competitive, they have to talk to teams that have all-stars or roughly around all-star level players to get them to come over to his team, or to come over to the Rockets to entice James Harden, which would likely mean you're seeing some package of, I think, the 4th or the 3rd pick. I don't remember. I think they have the 4th pick or the 5th pick is getting offered for Jaylen Brown, or you see Alperen Sengun get offered, or you see Jalen Green get offered. I mean, you're getting, if the Rockets say, hey, we want to give you Jalen Green in the 4th overall pick in this year's draft for Jaylen Brown, and maybe they throw in like a Kevin Porter Jr. or something, or Atari Eason to really entice it. And on top of that, they have future Brooklyn Nets picks. We know those are going to be good. They don't have anyone right now. So like, as the Celtics, I don't know how you can really turn that down anymore.
You'd have to listen to it.
Yeah, I don't know how you can
you
like hang up
definitely
that
have
phone.
to entertain it a lot. But because what's his face? Therefore, the dude who just moved up to the front office, I forgot what his name is.
For who?
The Celtics, former coach
Brad Stevens.
Yeah, Brad Stevens. I mean, that's the name of the game. That's what the Celtics have been doing forever. You know, making a competitive roster, making big time moves. So I won't be surprised.
The only reason I could see it not happening, I do know Brad Stevens loves Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And if that's enough to hold them together, that's fine, as long as you really believe that you can win like that, just the two of them. Someone from my work at PSN also said that the Celtics are the 49ers of the NBA.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I like that comparison. Yeah. No, that's a great comparison, though, honestly.
It's pretty solid.
It really is. Kind of in the mix every year, but it's been forever since they've actually won anything.
Yeah, they went to one championship, and that's all you really hear about. They complain about how one injury really ruined their chances.
It's very good.
It's
I like that comp.
It's a really good comp.
It's a very good comp.
It's a really good
great comp. I love that. I love that indeed.
Yeah.
You ready to move on?
Let's move up. Let's move forward.
Okay, sounds good. We do have quite a bit of coaching news. Last week, the Bucks hired Adrian Griffin from the Toronto Raptors. He was their assistant coach. I don't know a whole lot about him, and I didn't read up a ton on him either, but it is a name that I've heard before. Obviously, it's probably someone Giannis likes a lot, because you wouldn't make a coaching decision without his kind of green light or go ahead. That's the reality of, the NBA. You want to get your superstar players' input, and what better superstar than a top 3 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, I don't know a whole lot about him. Obviously he has to be worth something, at least to the team and at least to Giannis going forward. So I don't know if you have more info on him or not.
Okay. Let me run this down for you. So Adrian Griffin played at Seton Hall University in college. He averaged, I believe, 11 points per game, made 2 all two all Big East teams. 11, in his senior year, he averaged 19.5, 8.3 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. He then played 9 years in the NBA.
Word.
He got his start as a coach with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, okay.
With the Milwaukee Bucks under Scott Skiles. Yep, just after his NBA playing career. And then he's also worked for the Chicago Bulls, the Orlando Magic, the OKC Thunder. And then he won a gold medal in 2014 on the FIBA USA team as a coach. And then was the Raptors assistant coach after that.
Okay, gotcha. So
he also has a son.
He's been around the league. Also has a son. Is his son playing anywhere?
Oh my gosh, his son's AJ Griffin of the Hawks.
Oh, dang. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. So,
yeah.
I was like, Adrian Griffin, I know that
resume?
name.
Yeah. You going through his resume, it's impressive. Yeah, to say the least, it's impressive. Obviously, a dude who's been around the league and been in the league for quite a while. I don't know how many years that was, but I don't feel like adding them up. Trey's doing the mental math right now.
Probably 20. Probably around 20 total.
20. That's good. Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah. I think just really reflecting back onto the Boston Celtics series, when you look at the what do you call it? The coaches that were left in it, and obviously Mike Malone moved on, but Spoelstra too.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were assistants for years on top of years. And then around basketball, in basketball, for a lot of time, like Spo got his start, 30 years ago or something like that? Yeah. 28. Yeah. And then Michael Malone, he was an assistant for 11 years, I saw. And then his dad actually was also a coach in the league. I think that's important, having someone who kind of did their time as an assistant, and then progressively going on to the head coaching role. Seems to be the better move right now, because Joe Mazzulla, who was just an assistant coach for 3 years, and sure, a lot of inexperience comes along with that. He was on the staff for, the Celtics runs in the past, but it's a whole nother level to become a head coach.
The coach, yeah.
Yeah, to be the coach. So I like that move a lot, just based off of a resume.
I enjoy it.
So, yeah.
I do think it's interesting. I didn't know he started his coaching career with the Bucks. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, full circle moment for him.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I like the hiring.
Yeah, I do too. Appreciate you giving me that a little rundown of it, Trey.
Yeah, I had to look it up, so I'm gonna shout out the name of this article. There's an article on Fansided by Josh Wilson from 3 days ago. It says, "Who is Adrian Griffin? Everything to know about the Bucks' new head coach."
Perfect.
So I had to give that quick rundown.
Read up on it. Absolutely.
Check them out.
However,
Fansided's pretty cool.
Fansided is pretty cool, especially with that. However, Trey,
there's
a much more interesting head coaching move. Yeah, much more important, especially as it pertains to this podcast. Head coaching move. Also, a former coach of the Toronto Raptors, Nick Nurse.
Dwayne Casey?
The Doc. Oh. No, the Doc is gone and the Nurse is in.
Did you just come up with that?
I've seen it a little bit on Twitter and stuff.
I've seen that nowhere.
Yeah, so Paging Room 76.
I haven't even seen. I have seen that 0 times, but I'm very happy that it's happening.
Okay, hey, it's an original thought. Never mind.
I think Nick Nurse is an excellent. I think I said he was my top choice for head coach last week.
Yes, you did.
I either said him or Monty, but I definitely want Nick Nurse.
No, you said Nick.
I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah. Nick Nurse is the guy I wanted. I think he was the best coach available out of every coach. I love what he's done in Toronto. I love how much his players love him. He seems like he has that type of players coach type thing, but he isn't. I wouldn't classify him as a players coach. Just because of what he's done, he's been more of like an X's and O's kind of guy. Very intelligent, very strategic. I love him as a coach. I think he's going to be really great in Philadelphia. I hear Joel Embiid really enjoys him. I'm really excited to have Nick Nurse be the new head coach of the 76ers. As much as Doc Rivers, I feel like improved in his final season as a head coach for the Sixers, I feel like Nick Nurse was the best case scenario for Philadelphia.
You know what? I think that's perfect. Obviously, he was the number one coach for you, for the guys left available. And I was watching a decent amount of videos and just coverage on Nick Nurse and his time in Toronto. JJ Redick talked a little bit about him, and I like JJ a lot of what he has to say, but going further than that, just hearing how his players talked about him, and like you said, great as a player coach, but more so on the adjustment side. I had to, again, learn a little more about him, because last week I was like, I see him more as, as that player's coach rather than the X's and O's. But I probably watched a good half hour at least of just the Toronto players talking about him and other reporters covering him, just talking about his coaching philosophy, what he does on the court. And just the impact of the adjustments he makes. And I don't know, it's perfect when I think of the Sixers, and obviously that was a lot of the scrutiny that Doc got, was his inability to, make those adjustments in game. I don't know if you can, again, get a better dude who fits the needs of the team.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
perfect hire.
Yeah, I feel like the past two coaches the Sixers have had, and Brett Brown and Doc Rivers, have been overwhelmingly players coaches, and not necessarily like they're there for the players. They make the players happy. They fight for their players, and I love that. That's the mentality I want from a coach. But Brett Brown was super inexperienced as a head coach trying to win. We saw that a little bit in his last playoffs performance. We saw that he didn't really have the same ability to. He got outcoached by every other coach. And then Doc Rivers, we saw the same thing every single playoff series. We saw freaking Nate McMillan outcoach him in the Hawks series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just what we are kind of looking for at this point, is just a coach who isn't going to get simply outcoached and beaten up by every other coach in the league. So I'm hoping, I said that I was giving up on the Sixers. I said that I wasn't. I said that I was.
Yeah.
The initial heartbreak.
You're back on those.
But hey, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again. If there's one thing I know, it's that if we do the same thing over and over again, eventually it's got to work, right? That's not literally the definition of insanity.
I was going to say, I think that might be the definition of insanity, but
I think it is.
Go off.
But
yeah, I think it is too.
I think Nick Nurse is probably going to be. It's the best possible outcome for a coach. I love Sam Cassell.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dave Yeager, who are both. I hope he keeps both of them on the Sixers staff. I don't know how much he's going to bring over from Toronto in terms of his coaching staff. I don't know what else is happening, but I'm very excited to see what Nick Nurse can do as a head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Do you think this hire kind of helps retain Harden at all?
I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Out of the realm. Okay.
I think
fair enough.
I think the initial firing of Doc is the most Harden got to have a say on the head coaching. I know Joel Embiid was not happy about the firing of Doc. He really liked Doc Rivers, but I do hear that apparently he's a big fan of Nick Nurse too. So I think this is more. This is more just like the best coach possible we could get. And I think that's the way it should have been. I think if James Harden wants to leave and go do nothing on the Rockets, he can go do nothing on the Rockets. And I wish him the best. And I know how important the Houston community is for him. And just all those things. I really respect that about James Harden. I've done a lot of research into his philanthropy in the past year because he was a finalist for Man of the Year. But I do really want to just express that whatever he does, I'm at peace with at this point. And I really do just trust Joel Embiid, Nick Nurse, and Daryl Morey to find something. You never know. If somehow, some way, the Sixers are able to dump Tobias Harris's contract this year, we would have a max slot if James Harden left. If no James and no Tobias, we have a max slot. So really, that just leaves us with Kyrie Irving as really the only actual star level player. Yeah. Let me just pull up this list of every single free agent here. Another option I see getting floated around a lot, Fred VanVleet is going to be a free agent. And
I'd like that.
When Nick Nurse got hired, he tweeted something about it, how he was happy for Nick Nurse. So clearly Fred VanVleet loves him. So if we lose somehow out on Tobias, or if we lose James Harden and we get rid of Tobias, Fred VanVleet would be a nice addition. He'd very, very much stabilize that point guard position in a way that we've only had, with James Harden. Yeah. But still better than having a Ben Simmons on the team.
Yes, it is.
And having a Ben Simmons would be better than having a Dylan Brooks on the team. One more stray. Had to throw one in.
That's what keep tallying it up, baby. Keep tallying it up.
That being said, this free agency sucks. Also, the Bulls opened contract negotiations with Vucevic. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's all.
No, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, real quick though, since you brought up the Bulls, there was something that I saw that the Bulls don't believe Lonzo like going to be able to play basketball again, like period. I'll try and find it really quick since I brought that up, but
that would be awful.
I saw that and was like kind of blown away by it. And it was something my sister, we were hanging out the other day. She said that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
According to it's from Daily Loud, so I don't know how much you put stock into that. But Chicago Bulls believe Lonzo Ball may never be able to play basketball due to his injury.
That's scary.
Yeah. So again, credibility of the source kind of in question, but Rob Perez does follow him.
Rob Perez follows everyone except for me, Nathan.
Yes, he does. Follows me. He follows me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is what it is.
He's a goat.
He is a goat. I wish he would follow me back.
Yeah. That's tough. That's a tough one.
But
one day, Trey.
I do think it's really tragic how the Bulls, kind of that summer of accumulation where Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso all got to team up together. I do wish we got to see more of that. I think that was a really fun team, but it lasted for about 40 games.
Literally. So it's you never were really to appreciate and kind of reap what that roster could have been.
Yeah. It's sad.
So it's a shame, but again, the Bulls had their run in the 90s, and you guys can hold on to that for as long as you want.
Please, just I don't want them to hold on to it anymore. I'm
like
so
Cowboys
sick.
fans.
Seriously, it's like Cowboys fans. That being said, I don't. There's a debate going on between which NBA franchise is the most like the Cowboys. And currently the winner of that debate, from what I have seen on Twitter, is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Really?
Because every Sixers fan, including me, always goes, "This is our year."
This is our okay.
And every Cowboys fan ever goes, "This is our year." So.
Okay. From that standpoint, I see the similarity.
And then they do nothing. Yeah, and then they do nothing. Never get past the second round.
Then it's heartbreak. And then the new year comes along and it's rinse and repeat.
Yep. Which is just what the Sixers do, but we're not holding on to a championship from the 90s like the Bulls are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll be honest with you, Bulls fans are way more delusional than Sixers fans, in my personal opinion. No, Sixers fans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
I would say they're on par. They might be even more delusional than Cowboys fans, because Cowboys fans at least have a good team on paper. Like if you were to simulate, like in Madden, like 100 times the first year, the Cowboys will probably win like 10 times out of the first 100, right?
Yeah, at the very minimum.
Yeah. The Bulls never, maybe like once every maybe twice in 100 simulations, you'll see a Bulls championship.
And like a lot had to have gone wrong. I'm talking injuries. Every other team decided not to fly into Chicago for whatever reason. That's why.
There's actively World War III going on.
Yeah. Chicago
is the only team left.
Start of it all. Yeah. Last team standing.
That's simply
Chirac defended it. Yeah.
It's the only thing. But
Chirac was defended.
Personally, I think that's the only way the Bulls are legitimate legitimate contenders.
Okay, I respect that.
But that's I mean, what? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to move us on to our next point. So you finish your thought?
Yep. No, that was it.
Oh,
I was also going to move us on to our next point.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Well, the next point of discussion is Bob Myers, Warriors GM and president, stepping down from his role. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, it's kind of crazy. I definitely didn't expect it. We do hear rumblings about it like every year, I feel like, or at least the last few years. We've heard rumblings of Bob Myers wanting to step down. But I do think it's kind of crazy that he is and walking away from a team he's had so much success with. But after all, I mean, it is what it is, Yep.
I know Woj a couple of weeks ago just said that Myers and the Warriors organization haven't talked about a contract extension or a new contract for a couple months into the season. So it seemed like Bob kind of knew this might have been his last run with the team. But there's a lot of talk after LeBron and the Lakers eliminated the Warriors that, oh, maybe this is the end of, the dynasty as we know it. And I didn't want to buy into it a whole lot, but I think now with, I don't want to say like the puppet master, but the dude who's,
drafted
deciding
so many
who's
of them.
coming in. Yeah, exactly. Now that he's kind of stepping away, I think it's worthy to bring up and worthy to entertain. I buy into it that the Warriors, that dynasty as we know it, is kind of done.
It's gonna feel weird when the Warriors miss the playoffs next.
Mm-hmm.
Like when that finally happens, it's gonna be really funky for everyone.
Yeah. Well, just trying to imagine who's going to be on that team next year. Draymond. I don't know. Probably gone. Not. Is that safe to say?
I would say he's probably gone. Jordan Poole probably gone.
Yeah. Whew, that'd be crazy. After investing that much money in him. Yeah, that's the dude you chose over Draymond.
It is.
At the end of the day, money. Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know what you could get for Jordan Poole. I'd be willing to give you Tobias Harris for Jordan Poole.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would.
And then I would love to do a third team trade where I flip Jordan Poole for a second round pick.
Shit, a second round pick?
That's all I want. I don't care anymore.
Okay. Just so you have space.
Yeah. And a pick.
Okay. All right, Trey.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see Sixers fan wise how many other people are on board with that,
the way
trade package.
The way I look at it, right?
Uh-huh.
It would take a second round pick at the bare minimum to dump Tobias Harris. So if we're coming out of the trade of Tobias Harris with a second round pick, it's just a net positive.
A net positive? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I know Klay Thompson, he's probably going to have to accept less money than what he would, ideally want.
Yeah.
But it just kind of makes sense.
Jonathan Kuminga is looking for a way out of Golden State.
Yep, he wants more shine.
And they feel really like it said that his agent was feeling really weird about the way that they just kind of gave up on James Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big reason for why they were like, we need to move on.
Yeah.
Also, trading Sadiq Bey for Gary Payton II was kind of crazy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sadiq Bey, I felt fit that Warriors team extremely well, and they should have kept him.
He was definitely a better player.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Gary Payton. I think that move was more so,
get the band back
because they like him as a person. Yeah, exactly. Run it back.
They like his leadership.
So that I understand, trying to do right by your people, but at the same time, you didn't do right by your people because you just let Draymond walk.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance they re-sign him. Still.
There's always a chance.
I think he wants to go play with LeBron.
I think so too.
Yeah.
He has his eyes set a little south.
Yeah, I do think it's really funny how apparently Jordan Poole, what caused the punch earliest in the season, which I think was episode 3 of the podcast, if you could think about that.
Yeah.
I believe that was he said something about how Draymond's going to be going over to play in Sacramento after this season. So
yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely it's gonna be a new era in Golden State. I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
either.
Sick of them succeeding.
I am too. I've been a hater of the Warriors for many years.
You've been a hater. You're a lot more of a hater than I am for them.
I definitely am. The many times, I think the 2 times that the Jazz were eliminated at their hand.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that being said, I mean, the Nuggets and the Heat are in the finals. Is that the last thing you want to talk about real quick? I know you had a statistic on there real quick. Yes.
So ESPN, again, with their analytics, give the Heat a slightly better chance of winning this series than they did the Celtics. I feel like a lot of that is out of trying to pay respect to what that team has done.
Yeah.
And the Heat have a 11% chance of beating the Nuggets to Denver's 89% chance of winning the finals.
I think that's extremely disrespectful and also maybe fair.
I would give them at least a 20, you know?
A 20-80 is at least a little bit more respectful. I don't know what goes into these calculations.
I don't either. I want to know what like analytics they're pulling from.
Bro, they're like, what number sounds good? I think 11. Yeah. 11 to show respect is literally pretty solid. Mm-hmm. I do think there's a very good chance the Nuggets end up winning this final. Jokic leads them to a championship. I will still take the Heat in 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. Respect it. Now, it'll be a really good one to watch, though. We kind of talked about it last week just from a basketball perspective, that these are two teams that, you know, really play the game the right way, offensively and defensively, which you don't always get.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really looking forward to it. And either way, you're going to get two very deserving players winning their first ring for their respective teams. So it's awesome to see.
It really is.
Really quick, I did see this a little bit ago. Denver, the Broncos won their first Super Bowl in Miami. The Colorado Avalanche won their first Stanley Cup in Miami. The CU Buffaloes, many decades ago, won their first championship in Miami. So, you know, now it's time for Denver, the Nuggies, to do the same.
It's possible. Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out KG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really quick on that. Did you see Jason Tatum walk in with a "Anything's Possible" T-shirt?
No.
I think it was Game 7.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he pulled up with that. Yeah,
that's fantastic. I'm very happy he did that.
I am too. It was great to see. But yeah, that's all I got for you.
I think that's about it. Conclusion of episode 36. Wonderful. Look at us. We have almost a year of podcast creation.
It's kind of sick, dude.
I'm putting that on my resume.
As you should. As a resume brag worthy statistic right there.
Yes, sir.
I like it, Trey. Yeah. But I got nothing more for you.
Yeah, that being said, it's been real.
It's been fun.
And, you know, it ain't been real fun.
It's been moderate.
It's been moderately fun.
Real's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
It's been moderately fun today.
Moderately fun. But that being said,
I love it.
Deuces.